Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Ascension Tactics, which was a strange concept of a game whenever I first saw it, because I knew Ascension was a deck building game, and then it's like, oh, there's miniatures in it. And I'm like, that feels like a gimmick. Like, I don't feel like... so I didn't end up backing it. And after having played it, I'm glad I didn't, because this game is not for me. So it does a lot of good things, and really my hang-ups are with whenever you're like tactics.
Right.
Like here's tactics. I want to be able to do what I want to do. I want strategy to be involved. And I'm not saying this game doesn't have any strategy, but there were so many times where it's like, oh, there's literally nothing we can do. Like, because of deck building.
It's your Memoir 44 issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I've only ever played this as a co-op. This game, I would cut my throat if I was playing competitively.
Oh, competitive was the best. It would be awesome, I think.
No, I would be so mad. It's like, oh man, I can't attack you because I don't have any fucking command because of the way my deck is drawn, because this is your bog standard deck builder. Like, there's nothing innovative about it. Like, they didn't change it up to make it more decisive on how cards were coming your way. So... It would be so frustrating if it's like, oh man, yeah, I have a lot of command in my deck, but what a shame, I just don't have ways to command anyone. I mean, we even saw it in the cooperative at the end of the game. It was like, oh, there's nothing you can do. So there was just no point delaying it.
And that's the first game of all the cooperative or solo versions, because solo and cooperative are the identical game, other than the fact that those are a little harder.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
They play the same.
They compensate for the fact that there's more champions out, yeah.
But it's this is the first time I've had it happen like that, where it's been like, the last turn it was like, we don't have anything. Okay. Most of the time there's something you're doing and score, you just get outscored.
Yeah.
By, like, you do,
Well, it's also like, in the cooperative version of the game, it's like, our people are so squishy, and you rely so much on, the market coming in, that it's like, well, there's really nothing we can do, so we never have any heroes out. And then so whenever you do bring them out, like, they're so slow to even go anywhere, that you're like, okay, there's once again nothing we can do. Like, it took literally everything we had, and to get lucky on a treasure deck, to take down one tyrant.
Well, you did pick the strongest boss to play against, though, too, because the rest of them weren't that strong. I mean, that's in it's.
I mean, if looking at these, 12, 11, 15...
Because the boss gets a lot more activation than the other ones, and it has the surge, and it has all that. That's the strongest creature in the game. Yeah.
There's there's variety. I like the fact that the champions, there's a lot of them, so how they're coming out.
Well, they can be played as both our heroes or the bad guys.
Yes. I think that's really cool. I think that's smart on them to actually, because then they just have to make, they can make a bunch of minis and they're dual purpose.
Right.
Which is pretty neat. But it's kind of like, oh, fuck, okay, well, this Tusk Raider is basically a godsend. He's going to one-shot everyone that he comes across. And it's like, well, you need 8 cards in the discard pile, so that's 4 rounds. Nope, it was actually 2 rounds.
Because of the...
Yeah, because of the guy that came out. And it's not that I really think that this game is, unbalanced. It's not. I mean, we got to 17, and they got to 16. And, of course, as these kind of games happen, they ramp, like any cooperative game.
Right. When it gets further down there.
Yeah, it gets harder as you go on. But, so really what this game comes down to for me is, if you're going to call it a tactics game, don't have everything be random. That's kind of... Like, the treasures are random, your deck's random, the market's random. That's just... I can't not let that be a problem. It's the same thing as if it was competitive and I'm rolling dice.
Right.
So what are your thoughts? I know you like this game.
I really like this game because coming from Ascension itself, the world, I know it's more or less themeless, the stuff, but if you read up on the world of the Vigil and all that stuff, then it's these factions and everything. But I like the deck building and how they made that little tweak to, because in the regular deck building you had two currencies. You buy stuff or you attack monsters that were out in this row.
Yeah.
Now that instead of attack, it's become command, and you get to use that to either have the choices of who to command out here, who to summon. There will be, we didn't see it in this game because there's not a ton of them, but there will be villain or bad champions, monster champions that'll come out here, and if you kill them the way you used to in the old game, then you get their miniature and they actually become a champion with you.
What are they called?
It'll say champion and there'll be a red card. It'll be like red. But there's not a ton in there. That's
gotcha.
my point, because there's not a lot of. But when you take all that into account, and the AI is very simple, this is an easy game to teach.
Yeah, sure.
Because I mean the AI is like, if they can move in and kill something. Mm-hmm. If not, they go towards their color of their shrine. I mean that's pretty much the
and that's nice.
Super simple.
Yeah.
The variation is.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, so like if you would pay 8 and beat that, then you'd get his miniature.
Cool.
And that would be a playable summonable champion. But
there's
is there just the one?
There are two.
Two, okay.
Hey, Earth Tyrant.
Okay, yeah, because we wouldn't have been able to play him.
Why? No.
Because but anyway, so taking into account the variation of having all the champions that you draft, I definitely like the draft. I mean, like each scenario has a suggested team that you use,
yeah.
But drafting is kind of nice because you can kind of customize how you want to go, because those come out first, so you see what you're going up against, and then you can kind of adjust to however you need to. Like in hindsight, we probably should have got some stuff with more, which you got the movement one, and then
that was
movement ones that came out.
That was kind of my plan.
Right.
Was strike fast, and that's it. Like I didn't ever plan on doing heavy hitting. I planned on doing quick control. But it basically, I had almost a wasted champion, because it wasn't literally until the game was over that to make her useful, to make her like, oh, she's free, all the blue cards finally came out. Right. I'm like, okay, so she does nothing. I mean, they were cheap, so.
And I get over that. I mean, I understand the randomness of the deck build. I mean, that does suck for this deal. But I go into, I mean, every deck builder is random.
Yeah.
And I know that this part is added on, and that makes it a little different. But that's why I like about having that, even though it's not totally. I mean, most of the time you're going to have something with command in your hand, even if it's a shitty militia. And most of these at least cost 3. I mean, I know there's some that's 4. So you can at least do something on your turn, even if it's a cultist. You'll always be able to pull a cultist out. I know they're pointless sometimes, but for area control, they're out there. I like this deck. Just because the AI deck, it's called the Scheme deck, because it ramps up. It starts off slow, gets much more brutal as the game gets later. That's why I was like telling you, I usually get off to a big lead.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, it's like once you get to that,
it basically
cards,
slowed down
rough.
Almost immediately, and I was like, okay, because that's the kind of thing. The pacing of this game kind of felt off for me for that very reason. It's like, okay, like at first I was like, oh, this is super easy, like we just control these, and then it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't that they got better. It's just that we literally just could not do anything.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well they're not outplaying us. The AI isn't playing better. It's just that now the mechanics of deck building is actually starting to show its age.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, and I think we should have been attacking maybe earlier, too. I mean,
we couldn't,
because they're worth. I mean, if we were going a 20-point game, I mean, there were 3 points or whatever. One kill of those, and we would have had 20.
Well, right, but that's the thing is like, because of the way health works, which doesn't even make any thematic sense. If I'm a Twilight Scout and I attack a samurai, he's just like, oh, actually, no, I heal. There was no way it was happening. All your people were too slow to even get to him. And then, so instead of, trying to prevent this one from being held, because this one would have just been held quicker than it was, we would have went after this guy, and then it's like, okay, so, like, I don't do enough damage, that means I need everyone else to come and do damage, all for 3 points.
Right.
So, we actually would have been getting a 1 point less, because we were getting, like, 4 points for controlling this one and this one. So I don't know. It was very very slow, and the healing was very annoying. Like to be able to be like, oh, they can one shot us no matter what we do, because I know that there's ways to build characters, but you have to rely on those cards to happen to come out, and this is a thick deck. Like, if this was more like tailored to being like, hey, here's the scenario, here's the cards you can put in, or like a unique market, that would be nice. But to just be like, oh, throw everything in there, like this is no different than competitive fucking Clank Legacy, you know?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, man, okay, that's nice.
Well, and the thing is you know, because I watched a lot of stuff prepping when I was learning this game and all that stuff, and a lot of questions I had. I was getting on BGG and looking at certain things because the rule book isn't entirely a perfect rule book. There's some holes, you know, and stuff that you need clarification on. But I will say that the designers have come out saying that this game was made with the campaign as the main focus.
Oh, there's a campaign?
And it's a solo cooperative campaign. Like, you pick a faction, and you build from that faction. There's 4 different branching storylines. Okay. And several, I don't even know what the number is. There's the introduction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's, maybe 10, 15 different deals, and then there's campaign conclusion.
Okay.
So they said that is the purest way to play the game.
I see.
They said, you know, these are good one-offs that's why most of these are 1v1 scenarios. But you choose your faction, and then there's different stuff that transpires for whatever faction you choose.
That's cool. So you essentially have like, are they? Oh, okay. And so there's like 4 different stories.
There's 4 different lines that it goes as you do and everything. So they're saying that's the purest way if you're going to play solo cooperative to do this. We just did the opening one-shot the deal, which I've played multiple times, and I've only beaten this one once.
Oh, okay.
So,
which once again, I mean, 20 to 17, like, we might have been able to do it if you drew well. Like, I didn't even think those were really that bad. Like, I didn't think that the scheme cards were like unbalanced. I was like, that's all something I can see them doing. Even bringing these people out were quick enough, but once, I think it was the one where it was like cultists just spawn, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
There's nothing you can do about that. We might as well just, call this a wipe and restart.
That gave him 6 points. I mean, that won the game for him.
Yeah, because once again,
that was Day of the Cultist.
You're so slow, and it'd be nice if you could like spend, because they once again feel like kept it pure deck building, and it would be nice if like you had some alternative ways to use your relics for, where it's like, okay, for every 2 relics you can get an extra movement or something, because otherwise you're just like, well, I have a burner hand here, and I don't want to buy more mystics, because I'll just clog my hand to be even worse. I don't know, just options to once again lessen the randomness. Hence why I would refuse to play this competitively, because it's like, it's not me versus you head to head, it's which deck ends up, randomizing better.
Ascension is a 1v1 deck builder, so I mean, that's...
But yeah, adding the tactics is what differentiates that to me from just a 1v1 deck builder, because I don't have a problem in Hero Realms or Star Realms. I don't know why, but just having the miniatures and the tactfulness of maneuvering around a board just adds an extra layer of strategy.
Yeah, I think I would be more annoyed if the AI was more complex. With the AI being so simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I can bust a solo game out of this in no time, so it's like, that's a benefit. I mean, you don't have to think too much with the AI's turn. He's pretty much your playing.
That is true.
You move them, they do one of 2 things, and that's it.
And I think it's based off what people are wanting. Like, we hear Tom Vassell, he talks about games that he does, like, he was talking about, Aeon's End. He doesn't like Aeon's End because it's a chore to play, and he just wants the fucking deck builders where you're just like, okay, this is what I get. I don't want to think. And it's like, I do want to think. So the pure simplistic natures of deck builders don't do it for me, because I'm just not engaged the entire time. But I mean, other than that, yeah, like the different bosses, I guess, or champions, villain champions, are relatively cool. and the miniatures are nice-ish.
Yeah, they're not the best in the world. They're not
Yeah.
CMON, but they're not horrible either.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not like Avalon Hill
Right,
minis.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
they stand up.
yeah,
This one actually, I was surprised this one stood up. I expected it to.
yeah, like topple
fall
over.
over.
So there's a lot of cool ones. How many bosses are there?
You get to do. Hold on, I got it right here. There are because they're the 5 and 6s or the 4 and 5s. Because you pick one of the 4 and 5 star ones. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bosses,
Okay.
and then
just
And they're
all those
all the
minis are
champions.
champions, or that could be villain champions.
right, because
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because there's Cetra, Master Dartha, and then Samael, the big 8-armed,
Oh yeah, he was
Deal.
in the
and Emery and Xeron and Core.
sweet.
I like how some of these you have like there's a person on top of that one's head,
Yeah.
and then this one is Core. He's summoning like this rock monster,
Golem, oh cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's-
There's a lot of people riding animals. She
Right.
had a boar. That was pretty sweet.
yeah. So
This did remind me of I think there's a new video game called Ascension Tactics or something like that. And it's one of those grid-based maps where you just kind of you position people, like your people, and then the enemies are on one side, and then you just kind of hit play. Like you do all this stuff with like cards and abilities, and then you hit play,
Right.
and then you just have they kind of auto do that.
right.
That's what I was kind of thinking before we played this, and it does kind of play like that. I think they really did do a good job at making it simple.
Once again, like there's several bosses that their bosses like there's 12 hit points, 14,
Yeah.
15. It's just one of
Is
the.
that for the solo or is that for the co-op?
That was co-op.
Oh, okay.
Solo, it's 8, 6, 9.
Gotcha.
And then like the Earth Tyrant solo is 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
that's just
it
that's
wants you
kinda
just to
weird.
team up on him. That's the thing. Like that's just the hardest one. Besides Samael, Samael he's a 25,
Okay.
so he's actually the biggest one. But he does 10 damage and 20.
Mm-hmm.
But in solo, it's 15 and 7.
Yeah, that's weird because
So-
your champions don't change in terms of damage that they do. So
Except for unless you get constructs, you can ramp up your champions.
no, that's what I'm saying. Is
Attack.
like Raven, the Raven Siren, she does 6 damage, which is nothing compared to that person like the Tyrant takes 20 damage to kill, but if it's solo, he only takes 10, so she already in one attack halves his health.
Right.
It doesn't scale well. So yeah, I guess they want you to gang up.
Yeah. Well, it's because if you think about it, you're doubling the amount of command coming at them.
Yeah.
Because like I would just have my command for one, and you'd be getting command as well.
Yeah.
So, like we both would be able to put that many champions out. Because if I played two-handed solo, and if we played it with the solo numbers, I'd just annihilate them because.
Oh right.
Because of all the extra command.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, yeah, overall, like, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Like, I guess if I'm assuming if you really like Ascension, you'll like this. Like, but maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't say the miniatures or anything is too fiddly. It's not. And it blends pretty well between the two. It's not like this is its own thing and then this is its own thing. They go hand in hand.
Well, and I'd say also that if you're interested in this game, I mean, I know the Kickstarter version's not going for a whole lot, 125, something like that. When the retail comes out, everything's standees.
Yeah.
And that is not a. It's not. If you don't want all the miniatures and stuff, I mean, the standees are these.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not horrible, but I mean, you
It
still
is
get
kinda
still get
gross,
the
yeah.
gameplay though. I
You
mean,
do,
it's-
yeah.
Without, it's just the miniatures. I
would
think
say
adds a
you would
little
almost
more.
have to have the minis.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't. Standees work just fine, but like it'd be nicer if they did like those shaped clear standees.
Right.
So like instead of just a block with a
Right.
picture, that's very archaic, and I wish you didn't show me that because that's really ugly.
Well, that's why we played the Kickstarter edition.
Exactly. But yeah, like actually, so I mean, I didn't know there was a campaign for this, so that sounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing next, is running through that and doing the different Different.
So how does it
factions.
change? Like, do they just have different?
I don't know. There's different there's different deals that talk and they do different things and you different bosses.
Do you get like abilities?
And
do
you
get
have your own? There's a faction deck.
Oh, okay.
So like there's your own deck of cards
Oh,
for
neat.
faction and stuff.
Okay.
They put a lot of thought. That's what that guy was saying. That designer was like, this is the main focus
The main
of the
way.
whole thing.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm excited to try it out.
Okay. Well, cool. I don't have anything else. You got anything else you wanted to say?
I don't think so.
Cool. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Ascension Tactics?
I will probably give it an 8.5.
Okay.
Because I love Ascension. I play it on the app all the time. Like I don't have the physical version of Ascension. The app's probably, like I told you earlier, is probably my most played thing on my iPad. Because it's just so simple to bust a game out and everything. Adding the simple AI with this and having, and that's a caveat 8.5. If the campaign's really good, it could go higher.
True.
Just because of the solo nature of it and everything.
Yeah.
I will say I do enjoy the solo version of this game better than the co-op.
Okay.
Not that it changes a whole lot. I think it's just these have
it
become
just-
a little more reasonable.
That's kind of what I was
and
thinking.
stuff and, and everything. So
yeah,
you know.
and the co-op. There was one moment where actually it was strategy, and I liked that. You know, the one where we ganged up on the dragon, and that was rewarding because it was like, okay, so we have exactly enough. Like if you buy that card and we get lucky off the treasure bag, then we can potentially win. And it's like, oh no shit, because you said there were like 5s and 7s.
Yeah, that 7s must be out here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't see it in the bag. Yeah, there's the 7.
But then you drew a +3. It's like, oh damn it, we can't do it. Wait, no, we can get a cultist out to swarm him, and yeah, that was nice. But other than that, it's like you're doing your own deck building. I'm doing my own deck building. We're not really being tactful together. It doesn't. The game doesn't feel like it was built around co-op. But that was kind of my worries whenever they announced it. And they're like, oh man, we have solo, we have co-op, we have competitive, we have a campaign. It's like, and none of those are going to be good.
Well, I think it's because, for the most part, because I believe the deck building game itself has all those variations as well, where you can play.
Is it the same company?
Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah.
I figured.
So I think they've done that with the deck building game too. As far as there's the co-op, 1v1, team game, all that jazz too.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'll give it a 6. I think it's slightly above average. Like, I didn't have the worst time. Like and it wasn't long either.
Yeah, and I think we got hosed, like, because we didn't get any extra champions.
Nope.
No, and I know, and that would have been cool to like get some extra champions out and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because because a lot of times when you get a new champion, it has an ambush ability that says you can do something else.
Yeah,
I mean, stuff going to and that's the randomness of a deck builder.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Yeah, and I think it's only a 6 because of honestly the co-op, because I could see myself being very annoyed in competitive.
Right.
So yeah, that's our thoughts on Ascension Tactics. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.